to the session Generative AI, Generative Artificial Intelligence. In this session, we are going to understand more about the much spoken term today, the Generative AI, fundamentals of Generative AI, difference between traditional AI and Generative AI, key technologies like large language models, LLMs, diffusion models, GANs or general adversarial network, transformers, and we'll also be discussing some popular Gen AI models like GPT or Chat GPT, which is most popularly used and spoken today, DALI. We are also going to talk about ethical, legal, and regulatory norms of Gen AI. Generative AI is being much spoken word in today's scenario. Now everybody has content generated on their mobile app or on a computer chatbot wherever possible. Now who is providing this data? The computer started pooling data some time ago. Let us look into the formal definition of generative AI. Generative AI refers to a branch of artificial intelligence that enables machines to generate new content, ideas, or data that resemble human created outputs. It is powered by advanced machine learning models like large language models, generative adversarial networks, GANs, and diffusion models. We also have transfer models which have been added recently. Now this did not happen in the recent years. Lot of this work was started a decade ago. Now when we look at how it is spread to all the fields, like a simple mobile application is also able to generate huge amount of suggestions or inputs with the help of intelligent agents which are present on the mobile platform. Now these are simple examples for generative artificial intelligence. You can generate any type of content. It could be a text, image, video, graphical content, or anything. Now this is not only useful for generating content, it is also largely useful for generating possibilities of simulations. Now when we look at how this evolved, we need to understand computers which evolved few decades ago were putting data in one place and looking how to understand that. Now in the process of understanding, the computer experts started building a lot of models. The artificial intelligence which was designed to think, act, feel and respond like humans started behaving beyond those set of activities. There was huge amount of multiple types of data on the computer network. Now computer experts started designing language models to understand, predict, generate and stimulate this data. Now they used prompts for this. Anything given at the prompt was understood by the computer and executed. Now we'll just try to understand the traditional AI and the generative AI, the modern AI. Some of the key characteristics of generative AI are creativity, automation, context awareness, multimodal capabilities, self-learning and adaptation. Now when we talk about creativity, today generative AI has the possibilities of thinking and learning from all the existing data on it and then further assuming its own possibilities and throwing that at the user on the user prompt. It's not only in the content creation, particularly in the graphics, image or any other type of content, computer today is able to generate a new thing. Now that is the limitless creativity what the computer possesses. Or in simple word, the artificial intelligence has been enabled to generate or produce the content. And to do this, it had to take the support of lot of other internal creative data elements which are present and then think of the new possibility, which is again a new set of creativity created by the artificial intelligence. Now when we talk about automation, any predefined set of activities can be carried forward by the computer just with set of predefined instructions. Now today, generative automation is also largely useful for enabling processes which should automatically perform on the predefined context. Context awareness. Now, as users, we use GPT prompts, and at the prompts, whatever commands we are typing, it is able to understand. The artificial intelligence is able to understand the language of the prompt. Now, we use set of words given in English. Now, let us say if I am using any particular local language, can the prompt still give or generate the same set of tasks? Now, the possibilities are less, and there are still positive chances that the generative AI is able to generate the content. The reason is there are internal, translation agents which could just go ahead, understand that word and throw at the user prompt. So there is nothing impossible by generative AI. Now, when we talk about multimodal capabilities, certain images which are amazing, let us look at these images which have been generated, like the images, audio or video can be generated with the help of AI. Now, earlier, if we had to shoot a video, we had to bring in lot of components into one place. Like you had to fix a videographer, you had to take a camera, or you had to go and ask somebody to shoot at that particular location to capture that scene. Now, let us say like a possibility of creating, unimagined picture. All I need to give is give a set of words at the prompt, and the GenAI is able to do it with model abilities. Now, when it comes to self-learning, huge data was loaded and GenAI started learning on its own multiple possibilities, and small set of codes were designed for this. So with the help of this, it could generate new possibilities. So there was also a quick adaptation because of new possibilities, what it was, experimenting or executing time and again. Now, what happens here is it started learning, like what we call it as supervised and unsupervised learning, and lot of content analysis was done by the artificial intelligence. Now, these are few key characteristics what we are discussing. There are multiple other advanced set of possibilities with generative AI. Now, let us take a quick glance at the traditional AI and the modern AI or generative AI. The traditional AI was analyzing the data. It used to make decisions and perform tasks based on predefined tasks. Now, the generative AI is something which generates data, text, video, audio, image, anything based on learned patterns. Now, the traditional AI was basically classifying, predicting and automating routine tasks, while generative AI is generating new human-like content. That's the most important thing what we need to notice. Like whatever we were creating, they started creating something similar to that. So human-like content. The key technologies used in traditional AI is machine language, deep learning, decision trees and natural language processing. While in generative AI, we were using large language models, generatory adversarial networks, transformers and diffusion models. Now, when it comes to applications, traditional AI was used for predictive analytics, fraud detection, recommendation systems and automations, whereas the Gen AI is useful everywhere from a chatbot to images, video creation, and even AI assisted coding is possible with Gen AI. When you look at the traditional AI, it used to sound or look more like a machine. But the Gen AI looks more like a human sitting on the other side, preparing and giving whatever you're asking for, whatever type of content you're asking for. Now, when we look at the data requirement, the traditional AI had structured or semi-structured data, while Gen AI had large unstructured data sets like text, images, videos, and code. Now, let us look into some of the examples of Gen AI models. ChatGPT is one of the most popular, example what we can look at. This is mostly used for text generation. Anything you type at the prompt is thrown with the limitless possibility. So you can ask about anything and it throws, it generates the data based on that. Now we have different types of, GPTs which are functioning. Today, every software vendor is trying to create their own GPT versions and launch, like Copilot is given by, on Windows. Similarly, whenever a user wants to use, they can just go and use OpenAI. Now, it is just like an elderly person, or we had our grandmother or grandfather, you go and ask anything, they would be able to tell information about that. Now, that was possible because of their age and the number of events and other experiences they would have gone through. They would have absorbed the data, stored with them, and whenever we as children asked, they would be able to throw back that data to us. Now, they also had great power of imagination. Now, our ChatGPT and other generative AIs too have that properties. So all software vendors today are trying to integrate a part of GPT, prompt on their application to enable the users to go ahead and ask any questions and get the solution from the software or with the help of chatbot through that particular application. Now the second example what we are going to discuss is DALL-E. Now DALL-E is another crazy invention. Now this is mostly used for image generation. Again, one of the most popular generative AI for image generation. We need to give set of descriptions at the prompt. Just now, as the examples we were discussing, our grandmothers had the ability of going to any extent with respect to the imagination. They would tell us stories something like 7 mountains, 7 lakes, 7 oceans, and we would just imagine all those things, and they would take us through the story with their narrative styles, and that would prompt all sort of imagination for us. Similarly, for DALL-E, you give anything unimaginable, it doesn't question us like this is not possible. Now I can give an horse with 8 legs and 3 eyes with beautiful, big eyes. Give whatever possibilities of combinations you want and just wait for few seconds. Now it goes into the internal model, selects the possibilities, comes back and throws that new picture which we would have never ever seen, but which is most near to our imagination. Now that's the power of image generative artificial intelligence. Now moving forward, we also have video and audio. Now video and audio generation, one of the best examples we have is Runway Machine Language, or there are also other multiple applications which can generate a human kind of voice or image. In this type of generative AI, it learns from the internal models where the data is already existing and try to bring and give the voice or audio back to the user. Now we would have tried mimicking somebody or tried to record certain content and spell it out in our own voice. Now this is possible with the speech recognition or voice enabled interpretations, where it is greatly useful in industrial applications if it is rightly used. On the other hand, we have code generation, which is mostly useful for the software developers, engineers, or group of people. Now, one of the best examples for this is GitHub Copilot, which is mostly useful for code development. Most of these programmers, developers initially suffered to create original programming language or to create any particular solution for the set of tasks what they wanted to design. Now, with the invent of generative AI, even a lengthy program could be generated within few seconds by just giving the set of criteria and possibilities what you want to achieve. Now we took so many examples. Most of this sound interesting and beneficial, but if it is not used rightly, it might not take the society towards right direction. And there is where using generative AI is one of the greatest responsibility of all of us. Now let us look into some of the key technologies which are part of generative AI. To start with, we have large language models. A large language model is a type of artificial intelligence model that uses machine learning to understand and generate human language. LLMs are trained on large data sets, large in the sense really very large. Imagine all the computers in the world and the set of data what they're transacting or generating put in one place. Now it need not be in one place, but just trying to create the possibilities of imagination to understand how much big the data set could be. And these data set carry multiple attributes which these language models can still understand. It works on a concept called as neural networks to process and calculate the defined output. Now, there are multiple tasks a large language model can perform. Some of them are translating languages, classifying text, generating text, answering questions, identifying data patterns, and summarizing text. There are multiple applications which are useful for these purpose. Now, some of the most popularly used, LLMs are something like chatbots on which companies are trying to give response for a Q&A section or any particular query which is raised by the customer. Now, it need not be only in the sales or marketing case. It could also be a simple thing like on our mobile where we just go and ask on a WhatsApp Meta AI what are the possibilities, or give any question, it is able to come back and throw that answer to you. Like large language models, we also have small language models. The only difference is that the small language models are trained on narrow topics. So they do not have the ability to, give possibilities or unlimited choices when a user asks the questions. They are predefined and focusing on the narrow data sets. Because of this, they're able to give only that limited data when a user requests. Now let us try to understand diffusion models. Diffusion models are a type of generative artificial intelligence that creates synthetic data by adding noise to existing data and then reversing the process. They are used in many fields including image synthesis, natural language processing, and bioinformatics. Now you might be wondering how lots of images have been generated on the internet. Now that is with the help of diffusion models. Now it takes an existing image and adds some disturbance or what you call noise and disturbs the pattern of picture storage and generates a new image. Now this is useful in multiple places like just now as we said in bioinformatics. Now new variations from the existing possibilities occur. Now let us look into the fields where diffusion models are used. It's used in bioinformatics to design proteins and small molecules and analyze single cell data. It's also used in natural language processing. Diffusion models are more performant than variational autoencoders and autoregressive models like Pixel CNN. Some of the examples for diffusion model are Stable Diffusion from Stability AI, DALL-E from OpenAI, Midjourney, Imagen from Google. Now, these are some of the most popularly used diffusion models. Most of the diffusion models are also used by smaller and startup firms based on their requirement. So the next concept what we are up with discussion is GANs, or what we call it as Generative Adversarial Network. It is a type of machine learning model used to generate new realistic data by pitting two neural networks against each other. Now, these can be classified as a generator and a discriminator. Now, a generator creates fake data while a discriminator evaluates whether the data is real or fake. Now, most of us would have seen our own image being generated in different formats. Now that is the outcome of GANs. Now generative adversarial networks not only create new data instances that resemble the trained data, they go beyond that, and today they can also create something which is unimaginable. GANs are used for a variety of tasks including image generation, video generation and text generation. Let us now look into some of the applications of GANs. It is used in e-commerce, product visualization like personalized product recommendation and virtual try-on. Now, some of these applications you would have seen in a modern shopping mall, or as a customer you would have come across. Now, it is also used in the field of marketing and advertising for creating unique visuals for marketing campaigns, including images, videos, and design elements. One could also create an ad with the help of specific visuals predefined by the user. It is used in design and manufacturing to generate realistic 3D models of product prototypes. It is also used in healthcare industry for medical image enhancement, improve the quality of medical scans by filling in missing information or enhancing details. Now this is one of the most useful application for medical field. The reason is anything where the data was missing, it is able to take the existing images, learn from the model, come back and fill it here. This is helpful for the healthcare professionals very much. In financial services, it is used to generate synthetic marketing scenario to assess potential risks and evaluate investment strategies. It is also used for fraud detection in the financial services. Now moving forward, we have transformers. Transformers are neural networks that are key component of generative AI. They are used to understand the context and relationship between words in a sentence or text sequence. Some of the forms of transformer models in generative AI include T5, that is text to text transfer transformer, a model designed to handle various NLP tasks by framing them as text-to-text problems, demonstrating the versatility of transformers. Now, it looks something like this. There is also a Google-developed transformer model specifically designed for conversational AI, capable of generating natural and contextually relevant responses. So, transformers are used for multiple reasons like language modeling, text classification, question answering, machine translation. Today, generative AI is not limited only for the common man. Industrial applications of generative AI are huge. Now, let us take some examples of business applications of generative AI. It is used as AI-driven content creation for marketing, blogs, and social media, particularly in the marketing department. Majority of the content created today is AI generated. This is quick, easy, and precise as per the specification. So more and more marketing professionals are embracing, generative AI. AI powered customer support, that is with the help of chatbots or virtual sale assistants, companies are able to interact with the customers, and customers also feel like there's other person who is sitting there and providing them the information. Automated financial analysis and decision making. Not only this, even fraud detection or alerting the financial decision systems. So multiple possibilities are there with the financial activities. And AI enhanced product design and innovation, where product variations and new type of products could be created with the help of Gen AI. It is also used in HR field for recruitment, training and productivity analysis. In supply chain field, it is used for forecasting and inventory optimization, procurement and supplier negotiations, automation and workflow optimization. AI was also used in strategic planning. Now, managers at different levels are able to generate reports with the help of Gen AI, summarize the reports and submit it to the up or down hierarchies. Now, these people can just go ahead and add the summaries of their views or context to the same reports. Now, that is one of the greatest advantage for multiple professionals acting in different functional areas. Now, a bit of GPT. GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. It refers to a family of large language models created by OpenAI that are built on a transformer architecture. Since the last few years, there has been great advancements in GPT. The diagram here gives us the timeline of GPT development. It started in 2018. GPT-1, the first version of GPT was released, and every year we see the progress like GPT-2, GPT-3, and then ChatGPT was invented. Like today we have ChatGPT 4th version. Now ChatGPT was announced on OpenAI blog. ChatGPT API became available on March 1st, 2023. Since then, most of the users are able to use OpenAI for free. Now, how it is going to advance in the coming years is what we need to wait and watch. We have been seeing most of the changes which are occurring in OpenAI field. Today, ChatGPT 4 has replaced Google search engine. Majority of the users who check information on Google are also trying to check the information on GPT or ChatGPT. The reason is here on GPT it is more precise, summarized, and throws pin-to-pin information. While on Google, it just brings in all the large data network and throws at you to read through the different links. While in ChatGPT, it systematically organizes and precisely gives whatever you're asking at the prompt. Now let us look into the ethical, legal, and regulatory considerations of AI. The speed at which AI is moving is quite dangerous. Now this is what majority of the experts have been saying. Generative AI in particular can harm accountability and other human oversight. Now there is lack of transparency in decision making because of generative AI. People are just going, taking information from internet, and who owns the data? Even that is not accountable. So there might be biased data. So there's no proof of authentication to say that that data is validated. Generative AI faces many challenges, including data privacy, bias, scalability, and cost-related issues. So when it comes to ethical considerations, the organizations and individuals are made responsible to use generative AI in a responsible way. Now let us take a quick look at today's session highlights. We started discussing what is generative AI, difference between traditional AI and generative AI. We discussed some of the key technologies like large language models, diffusion models, GANs, general adversarial networks, transformers, and then we also discussed GPT, ChatGPT, and DALL-E. And towards the end, we discussed the ethical, legal, and regulatory considerations. Here are some interesting facts, references used in this section. Thank you.